They prayed together, they preached together. Together, they built a huge kingdom. There was a dirty, dangerous lie behind the gospel songs and Sunday smiles, though, and it broke everything. David Mann, the faithful husband, gospel icon, and man who millions saw as a rock of their faith, has been found out. As if that wasn't bad enough, he was also having an affair with Dr. Jackie, who is a trusted friend of his wife Tamela Mann. Take that in. This is the same Dr. Jackie who stood by Tamela on stages for women's empowerment. That Dr. Jackie who talked about how important sisterhood, loyalty, and faith are. She broke into Tamela's house without being seen and stabbed her in the back with her husband while smiling at her. Tamela didn't scream when she found out the truth. She didn't fall down. She hired a lawyer. To get a divorce, she did. She turned her pain into pure strength. This isn't just the end of a marriage, it's a holy war. The walls of the church are shaking. The use of social media is growing quickly. Fans are split up. What about Tamela? She is not being quiet. She's all set to talk. For to show, because you don't whisper when God gives you a voice. You roar. Get ready. Since this isn't the end of a marriage, an empire built on lies has fallen. Tamela Mann is done with her love songs. She's going to sing the truth. The world wasn't ready for the gospel. The church pews shook. The pulpits went silent. What about the choirs? They couldn't sing loud enough to drown out the truth, which came through the airwaves like a lightning strike from God. What Dr. Jackie and David Mann did in secret wasn't just cheating on each other. People lost faith in everything they thought was holy, loyal, and divine. It was like a spiritual earthquake. Tamela Mann stood by David for more than 20 years. David was her husband, her ministry partner, and her best friend in life and in Christ. They were the face of black gospel royalty when they were together. People of all ages sang about their pain and joy. On stage and screen, he played the true husband. He slept with the enemy, though, when his faith and family were not around. Dr. Jackie wasn't just praying for the Mann family. She was known as an icon for women's empowerment, a Bible study leader, and Tamela's sister in Christ. She prayed about it. This affair went on for years while people smiled in the pulpit and held hands in prayer circles. However, when Tamela found a private video message from David to Jackie, she felt like the wind had been knocked out of her. He told Jackie that Tamela was his peace in a storm, and that she was everything he had stopped being. She was by herself in the house, and the truth hit her hard. It could have split the Bible in two. David and Jackie had been seeing each other, but not physically, for years. Retreats for prayer, meetings of the ministry, late-night meetings to plan while Tamela was on tour. Jackie stabbed Tamela a little more deeply every time she hugged her and whispered, "I'm proud of you, sis." This man got her voice, her job, and her soul from Tamela. And now she was standing in the broken pieces of a life she had built on lies. The story then goes in a different direction. Tamela didn't break. Text messages, voicemails, and hotel receipts were all packed up along with her tears, and she walked straight into her lawyer's office. This woman used to sing about healing, but now she was writing the words to her own protest song about the law. She told her lawyer, "I want everything. The house, the brand, and the rights to our shows. He lied to my sister in Christ about me, and I'm not going to keep quiet anymore." There was more going on than just filing for divorce. There was a full-on spiritual rebellion. The court papers were very explosive. They called Dr. Jackie by name. They had transcripts of conversations that David and Jackie had, some of which were so private and blasphemously sweet that they could have turned holy water sour. In one message, Jackie said, "We were called to each other, David." It was over when the gospel blogs got that line. Fans were shocked. People tried to keep quiet, but pastors were told to answer. Bookings at churches were canceled. Posters were taken down by youth groups. Even people who sing gospel with Tamela went live on Instagram, their faces shaking with anger. "Dr. Jackie, of all people, and David, we no longer claim you, though." It was more than just a scandal. Spiritually, it was the worst thing that could have happened. The worst part? David tried to be the weak one. After taking down the post, he wrote, "and dragged through hell by the man who swore to God to honor and protect her." A lot of people who supported Tamela stood up. Twitter in black. Toasty. People who are against churches and head coverings started not watching any more David Mann shows. In their praise skits, mega church choirs switched David's name to Judas. Even gospel legends began to insult people from the pulpit. If you pray with someone, that person might sleep with your husband next. David's group rushed to change the story. They said Tamela was controlling, and that Tamela and Jackie had only become close emotionally when they were both going through hard times. But the bills are true. David did not just sin by accident. He jumped right in. He planned it, kept it safe, and worse, he let it grow in the ministry Tamela set up. Who is Jackie? She didn't say anything. Not sorry. No reason given. Just a vague Instagram caption after a few weeks. Angels can fall too, but God still uses things that are broken. I didn't think Tamela was interested in broken vessel theology. She was sick of being the quiet wife. She was the storm now. She wore nothing but black to court, not wearing makeup, not fancy, only power. Reporters asked her how she was feeling, and she just said, "I'm not mourning, I'm leaving." There was no need for revenge. It had to do with respect, about getting her voice back, not just in songs but also in real life. She wasn't going to stop with David and Jackie either. There were rumors that Tamela was calling people out by name. Other women, other lies, other people in the gospel who lied about David in exchange for access to tours and speaking opportunities. The business world was shaking. No one was safe if Tamela was ready to burn down the whole house and start over. Tamela didn't eat. She didn't get any rest. She also did not pray at all. Not now. Not when God's own soldiers were the ones who broke her heart. A lot of people thought she was on a spiritual retreat, but the truth was much more raw. Even worse, Tamela had locked herself in their home together and was crying so hard she couldn't breathe while ripping pictures off the walls and setting them on fire. She found it somewhere between anger and sadness. The flash drive. That stupid flash drive was hidden in David's gospel jacket pocket. It was the same jacket he wore on stage during the Women of Faith tour when he thanked his wife for being so strong. What did it have? Sound, video, grab shots. It wasn't just a night out, it was a timetable, a set of steps for betrayal. Over the past few years, David and Dr. Jackie had been sneaking around from conference to conference and even making hotel reservations in Tamela's name. It made them laugh that they could fool everyone. They used the Bible to explain their lust. David said in a recording, "You're the ministry I didn't know I needed, Jackie." That was it. Tamela turned red. She screamed as she left the house, drove up to their family lawyer's office, and slammed the evidence against the table like it was a murder weapon. She said this wasn't cheating on her. It's terrorism of the spirit. The lawyer stood still for a moment, and then nodded. That same day the divorce process began. Even before the news got to the press, rumors began to spread in the church. Sister Brenda saw David and Dr. Jackie leave a pastor's summit hand in hand. Someone in charge of a junior choir says they heard David and Jackie arguing in tongues at an Atlanta hotel. When TMZ found out about it, gospel Twitter was already very popular. Within an hour, the hashtag Pray for Tamela was popular all over the world. It was more than just a scandal though. There was a loss of trust in the whole faith community. Fans were setting David Mann gear on fire. Churches were pulling out of their plans. Even Bishop T.D. Jakes was said to have told David in private over the phone, "You messed with God's platform. Now God is coming for yours." But David, he didn't say anything. Not sorry, nothing to say. Stuck behind Jackie like a coward. And Jackie, oh Jackie, she didn't say sorry, instead she said it again. Used Instagram to post a picture. She was holding a Bible that said, "What God has joined, no man can separate." Tamela shared it again, but she also said, "You won't change what God didn't join." The war was now known to everyone. and Tamela was making people like her. She went live with no makeup, no filter, and no choir behind her in an emotional live stream. It was just her truth. I gave him my voice, my youth, and my faith. He was building a second one with my sister in Christ, while I was praying for our legacy. She stopped. I'm not hurt, I'm awake. Her words caused a stir. Something a fan wrote said, Tamela just changed gospel, not music. Gospel, the truth. The business sped up. Brands that David Mann endorsed were taken off his list. A premiere of a gospel movie he was going to host got cancelled. Dr. Jackie's wellness tour for women closed down by sponsors in 48 hours. People who knew Dr. Jackie say she tried to put the whole thing down to a spiritual link that went too far. In fact, she said David was the one who needed her help because Tamela wasn't there for him emotionally. Just think of the audacity. Things got worse after that. Court records were leaked by a reporter for the Christian Ledger. Just a few weeks before the affair came out, David moved a lot of money from their joint account to a private ministry fund in Liz's name. The lawyers for Tamela fired back with all guns blazing. They took back money, reported fraud, and asked for a full forensic audit. And now it's not just about lying, it's theft of money, spiritual control, and lying to the public. David tried to stay quiet. Jackie tried to use faith as a weapon, but Tamela found her sword. It's now her job to cut through the lies with every post, lev, and testimony. A close friend of Tamela said it best. She's no longer singing about broken hearts. That's what she's preaching. Everyone can hear you. Behind gospel music and church hymns, Tamela Mann stood in court like a woman who had died 100 silent deaths. And it wasn't because she was weak that her hands were shaking. It was because she knew she had given her whole soul to a man who was sharing his bed, his secrets, and his heart with the woman she used to call her sister in Christ.